It was just after midnight on August 31st, 1997, when the world's most photographed woman sat in the back seat of a black Mercedes-Benz S280, racing through the streets of Paris. Flashbulbs burst like lightning behind them. The air was thick with tension. Inside the car, Princess Diana turned to her companion, Dodi Al-Fayed, and whispered something only he heard. Within minutes, both their lives would end in a dark concrete tunnel, and the world would never see them the same again. The night had begun quietly at the Ritz Hotel. Diana, the Princess of Wales, divorced, hunted, adored, had spent the evening dining with Dodi, the son of billionaire Mohammed Al-Fayed. They were followed everywhere. Paparazzi on motorcycles swarmed like a pack of wolves, waiting for one more picture that could fetch a fortune. As the couple left through the back entrance, hotel security tried to create a diversion. A decoy car rolled out the front to distract photographers. But the real car, a dark Mercedes driven by Henry Paul, the hotel's acting head of security, slipped quietly out the back around 12:20 a.m. Dodi's bodyguard, Trevor Rees-Jones, took the passenger seat. From the start, things felt wrong. Henry Paul had been drinking earlier that night. Surveillance footage showed him laughing at the bar just minutes before departure, a glass of Ricard in his hand. Still, he seemed calm, in control. As they pulled into the Paris night, the roar of engines followed. Scooters and motorbikes, paparazzi, trailed them instantly. Witnesses recalled flashes of light through the rear window as the chase intensified. The car sped up. They entered the Pont de l'Alma tunnel at nearly 100 miles per hour. A split second later, the sound of metal scraping concrete filled the tunnel, followed by a sickening crash. The car struck the 13th pillar on the left side, crumpling like paper. Silence followed, then chaos. The first witness was a doctor driving by, who stopped and ran into the tunnel. Inside, he found a scene of horror. The Mercedes was mangled, smoke rising from its hood. Dodi Al-Fayed was already dead. Henri Paul's body lay twisted behind the wheel. In the back seat, Diana was alive, barely. She was conscious, gasping, trying to speak. "Oh my God, leave me alone," she murmured as rescuers tried to pull her free. Emergency services arrived within minutes, but the damage was catastrophic. It took over an hour to extricate her from the wreckage. At 2:06 a.m., at the Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital, Princess Diana, aged 36, was pronounced dead. The news hit the world like a thunderclap. Crowds gathered outside Buckingham Palace in stunned silence. Millions wept openly. The woman who had survived years of royal scandal, public humiliation, and heartbreak was gone. But as the grief spread, so did something darker: suspicion. Why had Henri Paul been driving so fast? Why had he been drinking on duty? And why did it take emergency services nearly 40 minutes to reach the hospital, a distance of less than 4 miles? The questions were endless, and the answers only raised more doubts. French investigators moved quickly. Blood tests confirmed Paul had a high blood alcohol level, over 3 times the legal limit. Yet many argued it didn't make sense. Colleagues said he hadn't appeared drunk, only relaxed. More troubling was what came next. The French police insisted it was a tragic accident caused by a drunk driver and reckless paparazzi. But not everyone was convinced. Mohammed Al-Fayed, Dodi's father, believed it was murder. He claimed the British establishment had plotted to kill Diana to prevent her from marrying his son. He said the royal family feared a Muslim stepfather for Prince William and Prince Harry. His accusations exploded across headlines, forcing the world to question everything it thought it knew. Over time, more inconsistencies appeared. Witnesses in the tunnel reported seeing bright flashes before the crash, possibly from paparazzi cameras or something else. Others claimed a mysterious white Fiat Uno clipped the Mercedes moments before impact. That car was never found. Paint traces on the wreck suggested it had been there. Then came the surveillance mystery. cameras along the route, including at the entrance of the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, were reportedly turned off or malfunctioning that night. No footage of the crash itself existed. To conspiracy theorists, that was too convenient to be coincidence. In 2004, the British Metropolitan Police launched Operation Paget, a massive investigation into the claims of foul play. Led by Lord John Stevens, the inquiry examined every theory, from assassination plots to tampered blood samples. They interviewed over 300 witnesses, re-examined forensic evidence, and reconstructed the crash using 3D modeling. One by one, the theories unraveled. The white Fiat Uno, traced to a private owner unrelated to the case. The flashes? Likely camera bulbs, not weaponized lights. The malfunctioning cameras? Routine outages. As for Henri Paul's intoxication, his blood samples were tested multiple times by independent labs, each confirming the same high alcohol level. By 2006, Stevens concluded that the crash was indeed an accident caused by reckless driving under the influence, compounded by aggressive paparazzi pursuit. No credible evidence supported murder. The findings were presented in 2008 at a coroner's inquest in London. The jury agreed. Diana and Dodi were unlawfully killed due to gross negligence by Henri Paul and the paparazzi, but there was no conspiracy. Still, public doubt never faded. Too many questions lingered. Why did the ambulance drive so slowly to the hospital? French doctors later explained that Diana's internal injuries were so severe, her pulmonary vein torn, that moving her too quickly could have killed her sooner. But to those searching for meaning in chaos, that answer wasn't enough. And then there was Diana herself, what she had feared, what she had said. In 1995, 2 years before her death, she'd given a now famous interview to journalist Martin Bashir. Her words echoed with eerie foresight. "I'd like to be a queen of people's hearts, but I don't see myself being queen of this country." She spoke of feeling isolated, unsafe, even hunted. Later, close friends revealed she'd written a letter predicting her own death, claiming a car accident would be staged. The authenticity of that note has never been fully proven, but it remains one of the most haunting pieces of the puzzle. For Prince William and Prince Harry, the loss was beyond measure. Just boys, 15 and 12, they walked behind their mother's coffin through the streets of London, faces pale, eyes fixed ahead as millions watched in silence. That image would define a generation's grief. Decades later, the tunnel remains a shrine. Tourists leave flowers and photographs by the Flame of Liberty, a replica of the Statue of Liberty's torch that stands above the crash site. Locals still pause there even now when they pass through at night. The memory of that night in 1997 hasn't faded. It lingers like a question that refuses to be answered. Some people still believe Diana was silenced because she knew too much about the royal family, about politics, or about the powerful men surrounding her. Others believe she was simply a victim of fate, caught in the machinery of fame that she could never escape. What is certain is that Diana's death changed everything. It forced the royal family to confront public anger and grief on a scale never seen before. It sparked new laws on privacy and paparazzi ethics, and it left behind a legacy that no tragedy could erase. In the end, the story of Princess Diana's car crash is not just about conspiracy or tragedy. It is about how the world consumed one woman's life. Every flash of a camera, every rumor, every intrusion built the cage she couldn't escape. The tunnel in Paris was just the final turn. She once said, "Carry out a random act of kindness, with no expectation of reward." Those words, written long before her death, became her epitaph. She was a princess who wanted to be human, a symbol who wanted to be free. But in chasing that freedom, she met the one thing she couldn't outrun. If stories like this keep you hooked, hit subscribe for more.